In this video, we're going to take a look at my newest custom figure, Aethyron, from the Dragon Guard. You may have seen some work on this figure, some on the channel. I've done some customizing sessions, doing some of the sculpt work, like on the boots and on the loincloth. Last week I was feeling a little inspired and kicked out a lot of extra work on this figure. I was wanting to literally push to get this one finished up. So I ended up sculpting the whole chest harness, and the scale mail, resculpting these forearm pieces, getting the fur on the boots down here and on the gauntlets. And overall, I'm really happy with how this thing's turned out. The scale mail was a chore. I've never done scale mail before. Now ordered these little diamond-shaped crystals from Amazon. A good while back. I was thinking these would make great scale mail, and they did. They do look really good. I started from the bottom and I worked my way up, and diagonal patterns to get it look like the scale is overlaying each other, which it is. But getting this to work, these are very delicate, and every time I had to figure out a method how to glue these on. I had to basically put a drop of glue down, stab each individual diamond, drop it in the glue, then press and hold. Then keep doing that over and over and over and over and over, front and back. But the result is beautiful work. These scales worked perfect for this. For the shoulder pauldron, I actually did this in a couple of steps. I sculpted the original one out of Abe's Fix-It. Then I made a press mold where it's thicker, where it's a solid piece of resin. And I can Dremel out a piece where I can put a peg hole in. With the skull on the pauldron, that is originally started out as a DCUC Scollix for the Red Lanterns, one of the heads. I chopped it up in pieces, glued it together to get the skull look I was wanting, and the horns are from the helmet off the DCUC figure, what's his name, Magog, I think. And so I blended all those together, took some sculpting material, smoothed in the sections, and glued it onto the pauldron. The pauldron attaches via a Robotech joint. I drilled a hole in the shoulder and into the pauldron. Just line it up. By being on a Robotech joint, it articulates. When you move the arm, you can move the joint up and down, move it out of the way for different posing, so you're not in a static position where it's stuck or where it will limit the articulation. The base figure for this is a young Thor figure, and I was wrecking my brain earlier. Like, I noticed when I was taking some pictures, he's taller. I don't know how I managed to do that. He is taller, as you can see. The only thing I can think of, because I didn't use the thighs and the knees off this figure, I used I had a Sentry figure in my fodder box, which is the Hyperion mold. The only thing I can think of, these look to be the same sculpt of the thighs, but it's got to be the knees. So if you're wanting these boots on a Thor or Beta Ray Bill, and you don't want to lose the height, use the knees off of a Hyperion mold. You will gain extra height. The waist piece is a blend of some 2000X Master Universe figures. This is like I think a Samurai He-Man waist piece with a 2000X Triclops studded leather piece blended onto it. I think we'll have a video on this one. And the lower boots are that of the young Thor, just a lot of new sculpt on them. I want to use these because you had the base for the upper knee pads, and it had the straps going around the legs, which worked out great. And I made 2 different knee pads. On the character design, they're double stack knee pads, and the little dragon head is on both of them. You can, I don't know if you can see in there. It's fully painted, that you'll never see again after I painted it. And I glued the ones on front. I think that turned out really good. The chest emblem, I hand drew this one on here. I took like a fine art pen. I put some dull coat on this so I can work with it a little better. And I just pulled up a reference picture and I just drew the dragon skull emblem onto the center red jewel. Same with the belt on the belt. The sword itself is basically a temporary placeholder. I'm eventually going to fabricate a full-on sword that matches the artwork better. And if you haven't checked out the Dragon Guard, I'll put a link down below. The artwork is phenomenal. It's like a throwback to like a modern style comic book art. Really good art. And it's like sword and sorcery, throwback to the 80s action comics. It looks really good. I got my copies, on order, and I like it so well, I made a new figure. The armor goes around on the back. This is the sculpting material for doing the armor was Procreate, or Procreate, or however you pronounce that. It's Procreate, but I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Is it Procreate? Procreate? Let me know down below. Same way on the head. Let's pop the head off. The head is the young Thor head, but different hair. And I sculpted the forehead crown piece. I repainted the face, the eyes. The hair is from a movie Thor. It's from the Lady Sith and Thor 2-pack. Those were at Walgreens for cheap, like $13, and this is the perfect hair sculpt for Aethyron. And resculpted the ears to give them like the elvish style ears. I think all that turned out really good. I got the forehead crest piece textured really nice. And let's see, what else we got on here? The armband is a nice little trick I do. I used a rubber band and glued it around to give you the armband. These work really good, easy to make it contour to the body. Just put glue all around the rubber band and be very careful, line it up, and you got a metal armband, or any kind of armbands you want to do, straps for figures. All the fur sculpt is the Procreate. I do have some Ace Fix-It sculpt on here and some green stuff, but like for a lot of this stuff, I use different materials for different things. Like for when I originally made the knee pads, I used the Ace Fix-It sculpt. And I used some green stuff. I got some Procreate. But the fur is so much easier with the Procreate. It's firmer. It's a little tackier too to hold on. So when using a sculpting tool, then sculpting the fur is basically making quick strokes. But it turned out really nice. I'm really happy with this one. A lot of good detail on sculpting. That's one thing I like about the Procreate too. You can get a lot of this fine detail. Put on my old man glasses and take a sharp razor and the sculpting tool. But it looks so good I'm so happy with how it turned out. And with like I mentioned, how I noticed it's taller, I pulled out the 80th anniversary Thor. And I was looking at it. So I was doing little comparisons. Here you got 80th anniversary Thor and the young Thor. Young Thor's eye level is level with 80th anniversary Thor's nose. Aethyron is eye to eye with Thor. So it's got to be the knees. It's the only thing I can think of did differently. So I actually like it. The little extra height. I was looking at the figures, like, he looks better proportioned than the base figure. So I couldn't figure out what I did. I thought it was maybe just the paint job, the extra sculpt. But I think it's a little bit of height and the sculpt and all the extra details. Like I said, I was really pleased with how well this turned out. Only the thing had a lot of detail to the figure. The character design is very complex with all the armor, fur, and different deco patterns all over the figure. There's a few things I missed because I just really don't know exactly how to tackle them yet. Like with the shoulder pauldron, should have the scale mail draping off the sides of it too. This is the first time I've done scale mail. And I didn't quite know how to make a draping scale mail off the shoulder pauldron. Maybe I'll take that another time. Try to figure that out. Maybe glue some scales to some fabric. I'm not sure. Or find some fabric that mimics the scales or something that would work pretty good too. But overall, I'm really happy with it. And even with the temporary sword, this is like the Heimdall sword from Ragnarok, I think. Or from the Thor 2-pack, same sword. I'll eventually fabricate a dedicated Aethyron sword, Dragon Guard sword. But it does the job. I did change the color a little bit. I made it a little more copper. Then over the real pale gold it was. But anyway, I think it turned out great. And thank you for everyone taking the time to watch the overview of the custom. And if you'd like to see more customs on the channel, just let me know. Well, they're coming anyway because I love making customs. So if you like this one or any other things, any suggestions of customs that you would like to see, let me know. Thank you again. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time.